Welcome to the Bridge program in mathematics. For today's video, we are going to discuss about solving quadratic equation using completing the square. So how can we solve again a quadratic equation by completing the square? The method of completing the square may be used to solve all quadratic equations of the form ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, where a is not equal to 0. So here are the steps on how to solve quadratic equations by completing the square. Number 1, transform the standard formula into this form. Okay, so if you have a quadratic equation, let's say ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, then to apply the method of completing the square to solve that quadratic equation, all you need to do first is to transform the standard formula into this form. That is rewriting the given equation into ax squared plus bx is equal to negative c. And after that, after rewriting the quadratic equation into the form ax squared plus bx is equal to negative c, then you divide each term, okay? You divide each term of the quadratic equation by the leading coefficient a. So since you have already a quadratic equation of the form ax squared plus bx is equal to negative c, and the step 2 states that you have to divide each term by a, which is the leading coefficient, then this becomes x squared plus b over a times x is equal to negative c over a. Okay, you go back to this equation first. If you have the equation like this, and then you divide that one by a, divide by a, and divide by a, so the first term a over a becomes 1. That's why what is left is x squared. And divide by a, so you have b over a times x. And then you divide this one by a, then you have negative c over a. Then after that, you complete the square. How can we complete the square? Multiply the coefficient of x by 1/2 or divide it by 2. You remember, you divide each term of the quadratic equation by what? By a, by the leading coefficient a. And then the next step is to multiply the coefficient of x. So what will be the coefficient of x? Then you multiply that one by 1/2 or divide it by 2. Multiply the coefficient of x by 1/2 or divide it by 2. So since you already have in the previous slide, you have b over a in the middle, right? Okay. So since the rule or the step states that multiply the coefficient of x by 1/2, that's why the middle term becomes 1/2 or b over 2a. Okay. And then the next step, after having the middle term, after multiplying by 1/2 or dividing it by 2, then you have the value b over 2a. Okay. Then that b over 2a, if you already have that one, you square that value. Okay. So after that, you square that value, and then the result after squaring that value will be added to the results of both sides of the equation. Okay, so in other words, we're going to add the resulting value after dividing or multiplying the middle term by 1/2, and then you square it. The result of that will be added to the missing term. And that is how we do it by completing the square. We complete the equation. So that's it. So we just added square of b over 2a to both sides. And then after this, you complete the square. That is, you express one side of the equation as the square of a binomial and the other as a constant. So, since, recall, wait lang. Since you already have a quadratic equation on the left side, so you can rewrite that one into the quantity of x plus b over 2a squared is equal to k. Okay? That is now your left side, and your constant formed by negative c over a plus or minus b over 2a squared. Okay? Because we just added the square of b over 2a. So our quantity or value on the right side becomes negative c over a plus the quantity of b, a square of b over 2a. Number 4, use the square root property to find the square root of each side of the equation. And that is, you have a is equal to plus or minus square root of b. Sorry. And then you solve each resulting equation. Example, we have example 1. Solve the quadratic equation x squared plus 12x plus 2 is equal to 0. So by completing the square, you rewrite that one of the form, what? X squared plus 12x plus what? Plus negative 2. So what we are doing here is we are just transforming the original equation into the form as stated in the completing the square method. Okay, so you have x squared plus 12x plus blank is equal to negative 2 plus blank because we do not know yet. So we are going to think what will be in the blank. But the rule states that, so yun, we're going to look for the value that will be added to both sides of the equation. Okay? Now, next step is to divide or multiply by 1/2. The middle term will be multiplied by 1/2 or divided by 2. And then you square it. The result of that, you square it. That is now your result, final result. But here, you simplify. X squared plus 12x plus 6 squared, because 12 divided by 2 is 6, and then you have the exponent 2. You square this one, so you have 2. So negative 2 plus 6 squared, or x squared plus 12x plus 36 minus 2 plus 36. Okay, and then you factor out. The x squared plus 12x plus 36 can be rewritten or can be rewrite as x plus 6 squared is equal to 34. And then you take the square root of both sides. That's the next step. The square root of x plus 6 squared is equal to plus or minus square root of 34. Okay, and the resulting expression is x plus 6 is equal to plus or minus square root of 34. And that is equal to x is equal to minus 6 plus or minus square root of 34. So you check to verify if the solution set consists of negative 6 minus square root of 34, negative 6 plus square root of 34. Okay, so thank you so much, and we hope that you learned something from this video. Bye!